Hello future people, I'm Jason the Bruce, welcome to Getting Tabled, and today we're unboxing some Malifaux. This is a box that I purchased, at a guess, almost 12 months ago. I bought this quite a while ago. I bought this during lockdown, with the intention of doing what I have decided that I'm going to do now, which is I want to return to Malifaux. I'm going to talk about this more in another video that you'll see in this series, but Malifaux at one point was the only tabletop game that I played. And for people that have listened to the podcast for a while, they will be thinking either one of two things. Wait, you used to play games? Because a lot of that was killed for me in my previous job, unfortunately. Or, wait, you can play one game? Because at the moment, I'm arguably playing 6. None of those are played weekly, but there's quite a number of active games that I'm playing. At time of recording, another one is on its way that is part of that list. So, why am I looking to get back into Malifaux, and why did I leave it? That's something that I'm going to touch in another video. For now, I want to start looking at my new crew. Alright, so this is a box that's from Malifaux 3rd edition. You can see that from here. I have to say, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before, the design of the 3rd edition boxes is far more aesthetically pleasing, in my eyes at least, than in previous ones. On the back, kind of laid out in a similar manner. It is still a new look, but these sculpts that they show you on the back are actually what the miniatures will end up looking like, or at least that's how it used to be. Loving the new design here for the Neverborn. Some fairly typical artwork here on the side. And the actual art version on the other side. So that's nice. They're both the same character, but one is the 3D sculpt. The other one is the actual artwork. On the top, we've got the Euripides core box. Euripides, Primordial Magic, Thune, and Gigants. So this is literally what's coming in the box itself. These, for those that are not familiar with Malifaux, these are actually tokens that you can use in the game. So I can take this box. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Personally, I would be putting those in some coin holders or something. Just something to make them more significant than the thin cardboard. But this is something I do like. Cards. That's interesting. We might actually compare these with the app, because I don't know how current these are. They may have been updated since this was released. Your usual roundlet bases, so we won't bother looking at those. Alright, and here we go. So most of this stuff is usually laid out. So this is one of the Gigants. The parts are all together. This is our Primordial Magic. Now in the previous edition when I used to play this was something that was taken in every single crew, and it used to be something that you brought by itself. It's been resculpted since then, but it's nice to see it actually being included in an actual faction. So that is more Gigants. In theory, I suspect that they're split there, because that looks like it's one. That looks like it's the other. On the other side, a lot of this is going to be the inside of the miniatures, which is not relevant for all of it. But on other parts, you will actually see more detail. Weird Miniatures legitimately do have some really good looking miniatures. That shouldn't be new to any... That shouldn't be new information to anybody that's not familiar with them. The thing that you will find with Weird Miniatures, though, is they are a little bit more complicated to build. They're one of the ones where they put the parts around the sculpt, not the sculpt around the parts, if that makes sense. So when it comes to things like they will cut things in a certain way so that that seam becomes part of a fold or something that you would expect in the skin. That does make certain things a little more difficult to build. I will have to let you know at a later date as to how this compares with that. But when it comes to the actual parts themselves, I mean, this is a very good example. We've got a foot that most people are going to sit here and go, why is that not part of the leg itself? Moving along, we get the rest of the stuff. Some really, really gorgeous looking details here. I like these chains. Like, the chains do look nice and thin, but they've been built in a way where they actually look like they can hold up to some detail, like to some bashing. And the other side of, I believe that's Euripides. I will double check in a second. Yep, yeah, so that one was Euripides. So 15 point cost is the same. We've got 5 defense, 6 willpower, which remains the same. We've got 5 in movement, which is the same, and we've got 4 in size, which will always remain the same. Malifaux is a game that's not true line of sight. It's a top-down, and the size is determined on the card, not the miniature itself. Personally, that's how I prefer my games to be. That's just personal. Otherwise, just looking very, very quickly, looks like the rest of it's the same. Same wounds. These are your wounds down the bottom here. So he's got 14 health. So Thune costs 9. He's got 6 defense, 5 willpower, 6 movement, and he's size 3. So that remains the same as well. I think we might actually be good here. Alright, so we've got a Gigant here. All 3 of these are the same, so I'm just going to use the 1 stat card. We've got a cost 6. We've got a defense of 5, willpower of 5, movement of 5, and size 3. And then finally, we've got the Primordial Magic. Alright, and finally we've got the Primordial Magic. So this one costs 3. We've got defense of 4, willpower of 4, movement of 5, and size 2. The only difference on this is there's actually 2 different versions available on the website. Both of them are the same. It's just the artwork that's different. And that's because you can still buy the old version of this as a separate piece if you want to. So there we go. Look, in my opinion, this is a fairly decent core box. From what I understand, the rules on how to get this guy working on the tabletop are a little bit more complicated than some of your other factions. So if you're not someone that has a tactical mind, this may not be the box set for you. Honestly, Malifaux is one of those games where I honestly challenge you to challenge yourself. Going in on the deep end can be a little bit frustrating with any game, but this is a game that really does tend to reward you for that. I guess the big thing I want to award Weird for, during 2nd edition, Weird had a really bad habit of having to update things, in my opinion, too regularly. But the reason I'm pointing this out is I think Weird deserves some credit for actually releasing rules that they don't need to update so regularly. They've obviously tightened in on this. That's really good. Anybody that has cards and end up having to replace those cards on a regular basis because they didn't work. I mean, rules updates is something that's fairly common, but when it's something that you then have to pay to replace, it gets frustrating. The other thing I want to reward them for is because all of these are now available for free on their website. That is huge, and that, in my opinion, should be the standard and the default for any large company in this industry. I understand why some companies don't do it because it's an income that they would be missing out on. But honestly, it's my opinion that not doing this is something that turns people away. I'm not saying that you should be releasing all of your codexes for free or anything like that. Just the simple details on what people need to actually play the game should be able to look up so that they know what they're buying before they spend money on it. Because if you do it right, then having this available on a website will give people reasons to buy the models they don't own. Thank you very much for checking out this video. If you're enjoying the content of this channel, please like and subscribe. If you're in a position to do so, please check out patreon.com/gettingtabled. You receive early access to at least 80% of all videos that we put out, and you get access to the video edition of all of our podcasts the day that they're uploaded. If you'd like to check us out on social media, facebook.com/gettingtabled is the most active. We also have a Discord server. You can email our team at gettingtabled@gmail.com. If you're on either Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. And until next time,